Donald Trump is speaking today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, or 30 minutes after the market closes. We got to talk about the SPY and what is about to happen. Take a look at the screenshot that I want to point out to you. These are algo funds, or CTAs. Now, CTAs mean commodity trading advisors, and this basically is telling us the flow as to what is about to happen with the S&P 500. I'm going to break it down for you right now as to what we have to see and where to park your money. Hopefully you're watching this before market close, but even if you're watching it after, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, including our short squeeze plays towards the end of the video, and then as well as some other stocks that I want to put on your radar. Without further ado, guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications on. Let's get into the video. First things first, the SPY on the daily time frame. We are seeing this consolidation after the sell-off with this slow buildup, and I stated that if the SPY gets above 632, 632.30, right around that range, and we actually open above that, that kind of invalidates what is going on with this sell-off. Now, we didn't get that yet. We are actually still consolidating after a large move down, which is still kind of scary. I believe we are not out of the woods just yet. And if you look at it on the weekly time frame, this bearish engulfing candle, this huge candle with a ton of volume, we're building a candle inside of that right now for the week. So we're not necessarily seeing anything too bullish for the market. But again, we are still in a bullish trend. But however, take a look at the flows right here. No matter the tape on the next 1 week, the CTAs are net sellers, meaning expect short-term selling pressure no matter if the stock market is flat, no matter if the stock market is slowly climbing, and no matter if the market is selling. This is dangerous. In the next week at least, okay? There's a lot of outflow. Now, if you look at the next month, CTAs flip to buyers only if the tape goes up. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If the market trends upward, $27 billion plus, right here, buyers, $27 billion plus buy flows could ignite a further rally in the SPY. This is what gets big for our squeeze plays. Now, if the tape trends down, massive sell pressure, $234 billion right here, outflows, sellers are ready to sell. In net, 234 billion in flows, 76 billion out of the US. Markets must go up to attract algorithm buying. Otherwise, expect CTAs to keep dumping risk and watch the trend. What does this mean in simple terms? I don't get it. Well, if the SPY, let me put it this way. If the SPY sees any sort of weakness, which we are coming up on an event, Donald Trump speaking, people don't necessarily know what to think right away. If we get any sort of moves down at all, algorithms begin to sell. They deload risk. If we get any small upticks, algorithms begin to sell. If we don't do anything, algorithms begin to sell. However, if we get a large uptick and we get a huge move higher, a lot of flows begin to come back into the S&P 500. So in other words, what I expect is if we continue to sell this week, which I expect just based off of the technicals, I believe the week is weak. The WEEK is WEAK, but the month is strong. I believe we get the sell pressure and it further ignites sell pressure to 613 on the SPY, or right around that 50 EMA. And then the month, we begin to get a V-shaped recovery with some sort of catalyst, and all of those inflows come in. We squeeze anyone short the market, so on and so on and so on. Now, hypothetically today, if we did get that catalyst instead of the sell-off and we squeeze the market, is that still bullish for our plays like GameStop? Yes. Most of the time, and we saw it back in 2021 when the SPY sold off. I'll bring this up very quickly. I wasn't planning on it, but when the SPY sold off right here, January of 2021, right when GameStop peaked, the SPY was selling, but shortly after, we decided to get a massive rip higher, massive squeeze higher on the SPY. And this sell-off, mind you, this correction was only 4.5%, which we're pretty close to right now. Moving on. The US-India trade collapse is happening in front of our eyes, which is not good for the market as well. For the last 4 months, we've received constant headlines about a US trade deal coming with India, but just as the deal appeared to close, everything has collapsed and it got even worse. It all went downhill on July 30th when President Trump accused India of supporting Russia in the war with Ukraine, threatening a penalty. And now on August 2nd, Indian officials said India will buy Russian oil despite President Trump's threats, which we called out. And today, President Trump announced fresh tariffs on India specifically for buying Russian oil. And India is now facing existing tariffs of 25% plus an additional 25% for a total of 50%. India is quickly becoming the primary front for Trump's trade war. So that is everything that we have right now. I'm going to jump across all of the blue chip stocks or bigger stocks that I wanted to briefly cover and jump to GNS very quick. It was up 30% earlier. It's now up 41%, trading at $1.20. Came right beneath the 50 EMA on the daily, and we actually built a beautiful base off of this recent red candle prior to the run up, and now GNS is getting another rally. It did look like they got a little bit of news today. Are we going to continue off of this? Well, possibly, but possibly not. It's a high risk, high reward. I will say this is the first time in a very long time I believe this stock actually got a base with a lot of volume flowing into it. So this could be the beginning of something new, especially with a stock with a high short interest. Huge, what you could call cup and handle pattern, but not the prettiest. Keep an eye on GNS. Okay. Speaking of GNS, UBS becomes the largest institutional holder of GNS Group with 890,000 plus shares after massive 3,700% increase. This is also the same bank that we believe got Credit Suisse's dirty swaps from GameStop. Speaking of swaps, JPY 10-year spiked today all the way up to fill actually a gap at 1.529%. Possibly that bad bond auction or bond auctions going bad. It's now sitting up still 2%, trading at 1.5%. We want to see that pressure continue to magnify. We also seen that Genius Group acquired 2,000 shares or GNS of Quantum, QNTM, Quanto Biopharma, and Strategic Investment, which is the same company that invested into GameStop. So things are going round way for all of these stocks. This is trading at 25.54. Was very right back in January this year, it was a $2 stock. So this is interesting. It just continues to climb. Basket stocks around GameStop continue to have a good week. Cost is green again, building pressure. Jumping into GameStop, Simplex Trading LLC has declared $125 million worth of GameStop options, including $93 million worth of calls, according to their latest 13F filing, which means they are barely hedging on these calls. This is extremely interesting as we see institutions continue to buy, but also continue to load up on call options as we are, in my opinion, on the verge of something big. We also see RSI very oversold, and the Bollinger Band's extremely tight. And then if you look at the weekly, we still have that golden cross and GameStop bouncing off of the cash and total assets buyback zone, which is right around $22. So there's really nothing bearish about this, except maybe you could call out some sort of technical setup on the weekly time frame that looks weak, just based off of us falling off a cliff from $38 all the way down to where we are trading at right now. But GameStop is notorious for building an ugly pattern like this and then just spiking straight up out of nowhere. That is what is notorious for. Last but not least, XRT has been placed on the Reg SHO or threshold securities list again, the third time in 2025, third or fourth time we've seen XRT, which is the main ETF that holds GameStop, the retail ETF, back on the threshold securities list for FTDs. Basically, they can't deliver shares over there. When is that going to end? Well, they have to deliver not like-kind securities, but exact securities on quarterly rebalancing ETF dates, which I'd have to look at when that is, but I believe it would be in September. And that is also when GameStop earnings is as well. But the volatility for August could very well cause us to have a squeeze before then, and that is what we are expecting and anticipating. Unity fell off a cliff on their earnings, but we spiked all the way up to $39 again, got a double top, crashed back down about 8% currently today, was down about 13%, I believe, or something along the lines of that. It actually beat estimates on earnings, but it was already priced in, and market makers wanted to kind of just burn retail investors betting on call options. Some people are talking about it wasn't really going to add this because I don't really put anything to it, but some people are talking about this is when the U fell off the sign, wait for U to fall off, and now it fell off a cliff. I don't know about that, but I figured I'd throw that in there. Guys, nobody has been watching Reddit. It's up another 6%. Beat earnings once again. This thing is coming for all-time highs, trading at 210.60. Let me know in the comments down below if you own Reddit, as well as Roblox, up another 4.6%. Just an absolute monstrosity of a chart. Apple got a bounce up 6%, trading at 214.30, reclaiming this wedge here and retesting this liquidity zone for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times as resistance. So once we get over this, I think Apple could have an explosive move to the upside very quickly to 233. But again, maybe we get rejected here again for the long term. Hopefully not, because as many of you know, we recently added Apple to the long-term portfolio. Tesla trying to reclaim this wedge again. This stock will just not give up. Palantir, speaking of not giving up, came all the way up to $180, which is just absolutely disgusting. I mean, this is probably the most straight up stock that we have ever seen. And I thought Nvidia was bad, but take a look at Palantir's chart. Alibaba, another one we had in long-term portfolio, and we called leaps on back here during this Discord alert. Still up another 2.83%, building a beautiful base here. Watch for a break above 122 and open and close above that for us to continue. AMD 163 down 7%. A lot of people are spreading a lot of FUD about the company's earnings, and don't get me wrong, there was some red flags, but I still ended up buying more AMD. Celsius reports earnings tomorrow on Thursday. This one broke out of a channel to the downside today, and it looks like we're going to close out of it. This is the first warning I want to give you for Celsius in case people are front running bad earnings and kind of profit taking into earnings. I would personally run a test at $40 and a stop loss below that, but we might wick under due to volatility. I would run a stop loss right around $38.50 in my personal opinion. Nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but very well, Celsius could come up and retest this top on good earnings at all, right around $48, 48 to 52, in which case where we're trading at right now would be about a 15 to 24% gain. Now, if Celsius decided to sell off, we could very quickly move to 37.15, which is about an 11% drop. Again, I still like this stock. I still like this company, and we'll see where it goes from here. We know that at these levels, ELF had some trouble as well. Similar setup. SMCI dove off a cliff, down 20%. Right down to this buy zone. If we break under $41, SMCI could come crashing down for the rest of the year. Snapchat also missed on earnings. So we've seen most stocks, most important ones, kind of beat earnings, but a lot of these plays are now missing amidst the SPY also getting a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly and a lot of volume to the downside. So we are in a risky position situation, and that is exactly why I alerted Discord that I am in VIX calls. Maybe they don't play out and maybe we get a stock market squeeze, in which case it's good for my stocks anyway, but I'm hedging to the downside with some VIX calls, which measures the volatility of the S&P 500. Overall, guys, that is what I got for you for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching or found value out of the video. Don't forget, all 5, 10,000 of you guys, 20,000 of you, or 15 of you, I don't know how many views this is going to get, join the Discord, because if you're not in there, I don't know why you're not in there. I post my trades as soon as I take them. We talk stocks and crypto in there all day long. People have been holding it down in there, but we are going to get to it pretty soon, more to it in the Discord, but everyone makes money in there. Check the gains. We got a bunch of alerts in there, all that other stuff. Overall, best vibes, best family. There are no bad questions. You guys will not regret joining. At least try it out for a month and see if you make money, right? That's it. It doesn't hurt to try. That is it, guys. I love you all. God bless. Lottery stocks out.